Happy Halloween, everyone. It is the Halloween edition of Daily Betslip. We got a lot going on tonight and I'm joined today by Taylor Mathis. She is a content host for Superbook Sports, betting analyst, FTN Network. Taylor, thank you for joining me. Because it is Halloween, let's start off with a quick Halloween question for you. What is the best Halloween candy?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I'm a sour candy type of girl. So
Ooh,
I love some Sour Patch Kids. I like Warheads. I'm also a big sucker person. Not much of
oh,
a chocolate fan. A little
wow.
weird. Maybe I'm a little strange, but I like the sour candy more than anything.
How do you feel about Skittles?
Oh, love Skittles. Skittles are great too.
I think Skittles are my number one Halloween candy, but they're rare. I feel like I would almost never get Skittles. I get maybe 2 small bags of Skittles each year. Was
Uh,
always a little bit disappointing.
I feel yeah. I remember the days of trick or treating. We used to have one big house in our neighborhood. They would
Mm.
give everybody full size candy bars, so everybody would love going there. And they would also give everybody pop. I don't drink
Oh,
pop. I never have, but all the other kids that love to drink pop, they loved going to that house.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. Same with my neighborhood. I remember there was like 4 houses within like a 10-15 minute radius of where I lived that had full size chocolate bars,
Yeah,
and I
they're
made
always the
sure
best.
those I was not going to miss those houses for sure.
Right. Oh, I
Um,
love it.
Yeah, let's dive into some sports here because I think this is the last night where all 4 major sports are going on in the same night. We got NBA, NHL, NFL, and of course the World Series. So let's start there. Phillies and Astros tied up 1-1. Obviously, the Phillies kind of feel like a team of destiny here. 1-1 heading into Game 3. Do the Phillies have a shot to win this World Series, do you think? Or is the smart money just on the Astros?
So I took the Astros to win in 6. Do I think
Okay.
on paper the Astros look like the better team? 100%. Do I think the Phillies have a chance to win the World Series? Absolutely, especially because they're headed back to Citizens Bank Park. I mean, they have the best home record of any team during the postseason. 70% winning percentage. They've gone 5-0 this season, particularly. That crowd is deafening.
Yeah.
So it's something that the Astros are going to have to deal with. And right now, the World Series is almost like a 5-game series because the next 3 games are going to be in Philly. So in a sense, they have home field advantage right now.
Yeah, and Philadelphia, I mean, you're going to be tough to find a more passionate fan base than the Philadelphia fan base. Like tickets to those games, I think you got to spend like $1,200 just to get into the door tonight. Yeah, so that's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I felt, and I said this before the start of the World Series, if the Phillies could win one of the first 2 games with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler going, then they're in an all right spot. But tonight, Noah Syndergaard going up against Lance McCullers. Which way are you looking for tonight's Game 3, which I think might be the most pivotal game of the series? I think whoever wins tonight might go on to win it all.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that this game is the most pivotal in the World Series for sure. My best bet is going to be for the Astros to score first, especially in the
Ooh.
World Series. This is so important. It sets the tone for the entire game, and Houston needs to score first to quiet the crowd in Philly. Astros to score first right now is at minus 175, so it is a bit juicy, but I still like it. The top of the lineups have been a big factor in this series. Houston has second baseman Jose Altuve batting leadoff. Then we have shortstop Jeremy Pena, third DH Yordan Alvarez. Then the cleanup spot, third baseman Alex Bregman. I took him as my World Series MVP, which I'm liking my odds on that right now. But
Yes.
those first 3 combined for 27 hits and 20 runs. Then you look to Bregman, most RBIs in their lineup with 9. Anyone in this Houston lineup can do damage. Altuve's only batting a 171 in the postseason. He really needs to step it up for the Astros. But for the Astros to get on the board first in Game 3 is my favorite bet of this game.
Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit because obviously it was tough for the Astros the first 2 games against Wheeler and Nola. Much easier matchup for them in Syndergaard here. So, and
Yes.
you said it, they need to score first to quiet this crowd. That's going to play a big role if they want to go on to win this game. Let's switch over to the NFL. We are obviously going to talk about Monday Night Football, but I did want to ask you a question that doesn't involve either team tonight. It has to do with the NFC because the NFC is a weird conference this year because it's the Eagles and then it's everyone else. We thought it was going to be the Buccaneers up there. We thought it was going to be the Packers.
Right.
Those 2 teams have completely fallen off. So who is the second best team in the NFC? Is it the 49ers? Is it the Buccaneers? Can they still bounce back? What do you think?
Definitely not the Bucks. I think it's time for some of these older generation quarterbacks like Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers and Tom Brady to possibly retire and hang it up and let this new generation of quarterbacks come in that are doing some damage like Josh Allen for the Bills. I mean, we saw it yesterday against the
Mm.
Packers. I may be biased, very biased saying this, but I think that people are counting out the Cowboys right now way too early. I'm also a gigantic Dallas fan, so maybe I'm biased, but I really like what I'm seeing out of the Cowboys, even when we did not have Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush starts. He wins 4 straight, drops the 1 to Philly, but I'll be interested to see what Philly and Dallas do when they play each other later in the season
Yes.
with Dak back on the field. Phillies made a bunch of huge moves during the offseason. They're obviously still picking up guys right now on the trade deadline, so they are all in and they are going for it. But I don't want to count out my Dallas Cowboys just yet. I'm probably being extremely biased and very optimistic. But
No,
I like the Cowboys.
yeah, I don't think you are, because to be honest, I wasn't too high on the Cowboys, because even when Dak came back in the first game there against the Lions, their offense didn't look that impressive. And I said, I need to see a huge explosive offensive performance from the
Yes.
Cowboys for me to be able to buy in. And that's what we saw yesterday
Right.
against the Bears.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm looking at the odds right now, at least at FanDuel, 14-1. The Cowboys are now might be the time to do it, because even though the Eagles are undefeated, that division obviously isn't locked up yet, only halfway through the season. So, yeah, that next matchup with the Eagles and the Cowboys is going to be an interesting one.
Yes.
Let's dive into tonight's game. A little AFC North matchup. Speaking of Super Bowl potential contenders, the Cincinnati Bengals started off the year disappointing to say the least, but they've kind of gained some momentum again the past few weeks. But unlike the NFC, the AFC is a lot more top heavy. They got some teams they got to get through, the Bills and the Chiefs mainly. So do you think the Bengals can return to the Super Bowl this year, or is last year just kind of a one and done thing?
I don't think it's one and done. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals still have a lot of left in them. Do I think it's going to happen this season? I do not. Losing Jamar Chase is going to be a huge blow to that offense. Not that they don't have other offensive weapons. Like some of my best bets I want to give you, I like Tyler Boyd tonight a lot. I think they have other options to go to, but Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have a very good connection. It came from college. It's still here in the NFL. I'm a little bit worried to see how the Bengals will do without him. And they started off the season 0-2, big Super Bowl hangover. I don't think they make it back to the Super Bowl this year. Do I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals make it back to the Super Bowl eventually? Yes.
Okay, so no Super Bowl this year in your opinion, but let's just talk the division here. The Browns kind of out of it in the AFC North, 22-1. They've lost 4 games in a row, but the Ravens and the Bengals entered this week with the same record. Obviously, the Ravens have already won. Bengals can even things up with them tonight, but Ravens, I was surprised by this looking at the odds today. Ravens minus 230, so pretty heavy favorites to win that division. Bengals behind them at plus 210. So maybe the Bengals can't go to the Super Bowl. Do you think they can win the division for the second straight year?
I'm a gigantic Lamar Jackson fan, and I just want him to do good every year. I took as a futures play way before the season started for the Ravens to win the division. So I'm sticking with the Ravens in this one. I also think if the Ravens continue to clean up their play to close games, I mean, that team could be undefeated right now, technically, if they would close out games better. They really got to work on that secondary and that pass defense in the Ravens. I think that will help them out a lot. If they're able to clean things up, I think the Ravens are Super Bowl contenders as well. They almost beat the Bills. So that's saying something right there.
Yeah, and obviously acquiring Roquan Smith today is going to be big for the Ravens as well. That's going to help out that defense, which especially struggled kind of early in the year, but has picked things up lately. Let's talk tonight's game between the Bengals and the Browns. By the way, I don't know if they purposely did this, but just an all-time Halloween color game. Both teams are black and orange.
I didn't even think about that. That's so true.
I like to think that's on purpose. So it's I'm gonna feel festive watching the game tonight. But Bengals 3.5-point favorites now on the road in Cleveland. I like the Browns to cover. I don't think they're gonna win. I did take them plus the points, though. The Bengals' run defense does concern me a little bit going up against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, obviously. But where do you land? Do you have any play on the side, the spread, or the total here in this one?
I don't have any plays on the side, the spread, or the total. I would lean more towards the Browns just because historically in this series, the Browns have dominated the Bengals. They've won 4 straight. And the Bengals have dropped 13 straight games as primetime road dogs. So they don't look very great heading into tonight. But I, of course, lean on the prop market more. So for tonight, for Monday Night Football, Bengals, Browns, like I just said, Cleveland has won the last 4 matchups in this series. And Cincy has lost their past 12 primetime road games. Do we think the Bengals shatter this trend tonight? I'm not sure. With Cincy being without their top offensive weapon, wideout Jamar Chase, wide receiver Tyler Boyd will have to pick up a bit of that slack. I'm going to take Boyd over 60.5 receiving yards. Through the first 5 weeks, Boyd averaging a measly 47 yards in the air. Over the last 2 games, 110 yards, and Boyd's coming off a career best 155-yard game. Plus, the Cleveland pass D is very middle of the pack. I also like Browns running back Nick Chubb, as you stated, over 80.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
I feel like Vegas is just disrespecting Chubb with these numbers. He's gone over this number in 5 out of his last 6 games. He's averaging 108 yards per game, and he leads the league in rushing. We already got a heavy dose of Chubb all of the time, but I feel like that will increase tonight as well because their number 2 punch at running back, Kareem Hunt, is on the chopping block to potentially be traded by tomorrow. So Chubb over 80.5 rushing yards, Boyd over 60.5 receiving for Monday Night Football.
Love those plays. I'm on the Nick Chubb over as well. Yeah, he's averaging what did you say he was averaging? Like 110 yards per game or something this
110
season?
yards a game. It's crazy. Why is his number sitting at 80.5? And last week it was in the 70s. Last week was the only game I believe he did not hit his over prop on rushing.
Crazy. Yeah, I like that over. Do you tend to lean more towards player props and sides and totals? Do you find you have more success with player props?
So I'm extremely player prop focused. That's all I give out. That's pretty much all I do. And my 2 sports are NFL and MLB. That's where I focus a lot on. I do NBA as well, but baseball and football are my 2 favorite sports. So I tend to lean more in that direction. I have a lot of success in the prop market. During NFL season, I do try to give out at least we do with Superbook my Mathis Mud of the Week. So I try to pick an outright dog to win each week. And then, of course, I look at some of the sides as well. I never bet totals. I absolutely hate betting totals. I feel like if I'm taking an under, I'm cheering for a team to be unsuccessful. And it's boring to me. So I stay away from totals.
Yeah. Unders are painful to cheer for sure. Thank you so much for joining me, Taylor. You can follow her on Twitter at TMathSports. Where else can the people find your work, Taylor?
Yeah, TMath Sports are all my social handles, as well as FTN. I host a betting show on Fridays on the Gaming Plus network, as well as all of my Superbook content. I'm on Sports Grid Wednesday nights as well, hosting a betting show and doing some stuff for the Better Sports Network. So all over the place.
Love it. Are you dressing up as anything for Halloween tonight?
I was Joey B earlier today. For some of my FTN stuff I dressed up as Joey B for a couple of my player prop hits. So that was very fun. But I pretty much wore my costumes during the weekend already.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Tonight is my costume night. So as you can see, I'm dressed up as a cat. All right. Thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate it. Like I said, you can catch her all on social media at TMath Sports. Next up, Peter Dewey is going to be joining me here to give out our best bets for tonight, as well as community picks. Who's the BetSided community back in tonight? Because like I said, I think this is the last night of the year that we have all 4 major sports going on. So I will have an NHL player for tonight as well. And there he is. Peter, you did not join me with a costume either. So I'm the only one dressed up.
I apologize. I'm not a big Halloween guy. Might be a hot take, but I really just not a fan of Halloween. I think it's arguably the most overhyped holiday of all time. Yeah, not a fan.
All right, we're pulling the last second audible. Peter is no longer going to be my co-host on today's show. I'm going to bring in someone who actually likes Halloween. Unbelievable. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I dressed up as a cat just for today, and I'm going to be giving out candy here in a little bit as well. So I'm excited for it.
I respect it. That you've had the commitment since our morning meeting today. So
I did take off the makeup for a little bit though, so the makeup got a little itchy. And I'm going to a spooky story show tonight, so I have a jam-packed night. I love it. I'm excited. But let's talk some bets for tonight as well. We got some community picks to get through. I think we might hit every major sport tonight. So at least 3 of them. So let's dive into those if we can bring up the first one, and then we'll get to our best bets for tonight. Birdman at half bird, half man. My friend here on Twitter, he's always giving out good stuff. He's on Hayden Hurst under 40.5 receiving yards, -125. He's only hit 41 plus and 321, including 110 without Chase. I don't know what he means by those numbers. Going to be needed to chip Cleveland edge rushers at Cincinnati's 27th QB sack percentage at 8.4%. In 4 career games against Cleveland, Hurst has 6 catches for 98 receiving yards total, averaging 24.5 per game. I don't know if that Hurst, like that last stat, is too relevant because this is his first year with Cincinnati. Is it not? So it kind of more depends on the team and the game plan. And Hurst was a backup with the Falcons last year. So I think maybe that was 2 years ago. Birdman, I appreciate you sending the pick. I'm on the opposite side, though. I actually like Hayden Hurst to go over his receiving yard totals tonight. No Jamar Chase. I think he's had 7 catches in 4 of his 7 games this season. I like Hayden Hurst over tonight. So me and Birdman on opposite sides for this one here. Let's tackle some YouTube best bets here, and then we'll get more to I should ask you, do you have any thoughts on Hayden Hurst tonight, Peter?
I actually like the over too. He's seen a lot of targets this year. Like his target share has actually been pretty up. And so I think T. Higgins kind of replaces Jamar Chase as the downfield threat, and you're going to see a lot of Tyler Boyd, Hayden Hurst underneath, maybe some Joe Mixon tonight. So I actually like his over. They throw the ball a ton. They're like one of the, I think it's like top 5 in the league or top 10 in the league in pass rate. Like they throw the ball a ton. So I like the over for him.
All right. So me and you on opposite sides as a Birdman. We'll see how that goes. At least one of us, one side will win that bet. Don, let's take a look at some YouTube comments here. Don Pla, Vampire. Ooh, festive with a little emoji. Hello, am I crazy for taking Wizards money line in the NBA? Peter, I'm going to throw this one to you because, as I say, I'm hashtag not an NBA guy, but Wizards are taking on hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. So I do know got off to a little bit of a rough start this season. Is Don crazy for taking Wizards money line?
Not at all, Don. Not crazy at all. Joel Embiid did not go through shoot-around today. He's questionable for this game, and we've seen in years past, normally when Joel Embiid does not go through shoot-around, he does not play. So if Joel Embiid doesn't play tonight, I think this line would move. I believe the Sixers are 4-point favorites right now. That would certainly move if he's out of the lineup. Wizards haven't been horrible this year. They're not, I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team in the East, but they've been good. Bradley Beal obviously makes them a lot better team. He missed most of the second half of last season. So I don't mind taking the Wizards money line and just kind of hoping that Embiid gets ruled out, because if he does, the Sixers obviously are a much, much worse team.
So there you go. Not crazy if we're taking Wizards money line. Beers and Bowtie says my best play, Browns team total over 20.5 and Chubb anytime touchdown -126. Certainly love that Chubb bet. Team total over 20.5. I'm indifferent about that pick. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. We'll see. I certainly do like Chubb, though. I think Chubb's going to have a big game. Any thoughts on those, please, Peter?
I'm hoping the team total hits just because I would love a shootout tonight. I would love a fun primetime game to watch tonight. I like the Nick Chubb one, though, too, because I think Browns are going to be real careful about how many touches they give Kareem Hunt tonight, just because they are trying to trade him tomorrow. So I could see, Kareem Hunt seeing 5 or less touches maybe tonight, and they just kind of use him to spell Nick Chubb, which I would assume means Nick Chubb gets most of the red zone work. So like him to score for sure.
Yes, Taylor brought that point up as well. They may not give Hunt as many carries tonight with him kind of being on the trading block here. All right, let's get back to the Twitter community picks that were sent in to us earlier today. This comes in from the odds fellow at @the_odds_fellow. Heavy lean to disastrous Brooklyn Nets. What an absolute shit show what is going on in Brooklyn there. Not positive about first half full game, but all could be good looks, because here's what happened in the match a few days ago. Indiana won by 9 despite this 27-point gap from downtown. Pacers only won by 9 but hit 50% of their threes. Brooklyn only hit 36%. Can a 50% heater be sustained? Any thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets and the Indiana Pacers tonight?
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of this one. I bet the Pacers at +8.5. Brooklyn, there's the 3-point shooting might not be sustained, but there are other ways to beat this Nets team. They are dead last in the NBA in defensive rating. They do not defend anybody. Their starting lineup, their group of Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, Nicholas Claxton, Kevin Durant, and Royce O'Neal has the worst net rating of any 5-man lineup that's played at least 24 minutes this season in the NBA. So there's a lot of problems there. And the other thing is the Nets are 6-31-1 against the spread as home favorites since the start of last year. They do not cover at home. We kind of saw this with the Lakers at the beginning of the year and they covered last night where they got a little bit more respect because they have LeBron James on their team. I think the same thing kind of happens with this Nets team because they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, but we have no reason to trust them. This is going on year 2 now of they look like a mediocre basketball team most of the time. So 8.5 points for a Pacers team that's top 12 in the NBA in offense going against the worst defense in the league. Like, I think they hang around. The Pacers have a lot of good young talent. Tyrese Halliburton looks like an all-star this year. So I'm not laying any points with the Nets anytime soon.
I would like to officially denounce the Brooklyn Nets. I'm now back to being a Knicks fan. I've jumped back and forth since moving to New York. Recent events has now forced my hand. I denounce the Brooklyn Nets. Good news for you, Peter. I'm back to cheering for the Knicks. How about that?
There we go. I love to hear that. Breaking
news via me.
I'm glad we announced it on the show as well. This is beautiful. Joanne, can we clip this for all time right here?
All right. We got another community pick here, and this is going to be the third time that this pick will be given out on the show. Taylor gave out this pick. Hot takes at NFL Insider 99 will also be giving out this pick. Nick Chubb yardage over 86.5. Bengals allowing 4.6 yards per carry, and Chubb averaging 5.9 yards per carry this season. He's going to run wild tonight, considering betting him to score twice as well. Yeah, I think Nick Chubb's the best running back in the NFL. And I think Derrick Henry has been so good the past few years that he's kind of been in a shadow. Nick Chubb, very good. Confirmed good at football, Nick Chubb.
Very, very good. I would love if Nick Chubb went off tonight. I'm down big in a fantasy matchup, and I have him and Joe Burrow left. So wouldn't mind a big Nick Chubb game tonight. I think he does go off, though. I think, I've seen Browns fans on Twitter kind of complaining about his touches in recent weeks. Like, why don't we give him 20-plus carries? Like, tonight's going to be the 20-plus carries game because I don't think Kareem Hunt gets the ball much.
The fantasy league that you're down a lot in is certainly not in our work fantasy league because we were playing against each other, and you are destroying me. I started off the season 4-0. I'm now on the verge of losing 4 straight to drop to 4-4.
This is only going to be my second win of the year. It's been that team has been a disaster. I had Javonte Williams.
It snapped this week though. We had like 2 guys get like 40 points.
This was a good week. We're starting to piece something together with that team, but I might be out of playoff contention already because I was like 1-6 coming in.
All right, so we had a NBA pick, 2 NFL. I guess no NHL community picks here, but we do have an MLB community pick here. The last pick before we get into our best bets. Hot takes with TP3 at TP3 bets. Phillies Astros over 8. Both pitchers haven't thrown in a while. Small ballpark should pay to both lineups power. I think that's a little bit of a typo, but Noah multiple starters versus Astros this year. Runs will come in.
I don't mind the over. Syndergaard hasn't pitched in forever, and he hasn't started in even longer. So I'd lean with the Astros in this game because of that. And McCullers kind of got knocked around by the Yankees in Game 4, which is shocking because the Yankees couldn't hit anybody in this playoffs. So I don't mind the over.
Yeah, I'd probably lean to the over. I couldn't figure out an edge on the total, though. I went side, and we'll get to that here in a moment because that is the end of community picks. Thank you, TP3 Best, for sending it in. Best of luck with your over. Let's get into our best bets for tonight. I got a little bit of everything. I got 1 NHL, 1 MLB, 1 NFL, and you got 3 NBA. Let me just start off with my NFL one here because, as I said, this will be given out now for the 3rd time in the show. Taylor is on it. The community pick was on it. I forget who it was. And now I am on it. Nick Chubb. Over 81.5 rushing yards is what I got of that. I don't know what else we can say about this guy. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be sidelined a little bit tonight. Nick Chubb is leading the NFL in yards per game and yards per carry. The Bengals have struggled to stop the run tonight. I think it would be smart for the Browns to lean on the run with Jacoby. I mean, you're not going to make Jacoby Brissett throw 50 times in a primetime game, so I like the over. I don't know what else needs to be said about it. We've had, like I said, 3 people on the show now have given out this pick, so let's ride it.
Yeah,
Nick Chubb over 81.5 rushing yards. Peter, what's your first NBA bet?
Yeah, the first one I got today, I'm taking Domantas Sabonis under 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. been taking a lot of PRA unders lately. Took Chris Paul last night. That one hit. Took Kelly Oubre like 3 times last week because the books just kept hanging absurd numbers for him and he does not get assists. So felt pretty good about taking those. But I like this for Sabonis. He's taking a step back offensively for Sacramento this year. Last year when he got traded to them, he was taking 13.5 shots per game over the last 20-something games of the regular season. This year, just 9.4 shots per night. A little bit because of the addition of Keegan Murray, their number one draft pick. He has been very solid to start his career. I think Sabonis kind of taking a bit of a step back offensively, taking more of a playmaking role. In 4 of his 5 games this year, Sabonis has gone under this number. The only one he went over, and he had kind of an anomaly rebounding game. He had 14 boards against the Golden State Warriors, who are a smaller team. And so that pushed him over. But facing a Hornets team that has no guard depth right now with their injuries, but they have plenty of bigs. They're going to throw Mason Plumlee, Nick Richards, PJ Washington. They're going to throw the house at you down low. So I like the under here for Sabonis. He hasn't been putting up 20-point games, and that's kind of where he's going to need to push if he wants to go over this number. So I think the under is the play tonight.
Domantas Sabonis, under 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. My next play for tonight here, let's just go to the World Series. We had TP3 bets given in the over. I'm going to go with the side. I'm just going to go with the Astros here. I don't think there's a lot that we can really take away from the first couple of games of the World Series. So my opinion is still the same as it was before the World Series starts. I thought the Phillies could hang with the Astros when it was Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola pitching. I just don't think they can quite hang with the Astros, with Noah Syndergaard and with whoever else they plan on putting out there this series, because the Astros are too complete. I believe in Lance McCullers here. Their bullpen, even if he struggles a little bit, they bring in their MLB best bullpen. If Noah Syndergaard struggles, they don't have anyone in the bullpen to go to because their bullpen stinks. So I don't know. I think the Astros are the better team. I would set them more like minus 150. Maybe the price is getting a little bit lopsided because people assume that the Phillies have a huge home field advantage, which they do. But I mean, the Astros are experienced. They know how to deal with these teams in these spots. So I'm just sticking to my pre-World Series, my pre-playoff prediction. I think the Astros are the best team. I think they're better than the Phillies. I think the Phillies Cinderella story ends here shortly. So minus 132, I kind of like the Astros.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Syndergaard on the mound scares me a lot tonight for the Phillies. I just don't. And they used Ranger Suarez. I assume he's going to pitch in game 4, but they used him in game 1 out of the bullpen, I believe. So I doubt he'd even be available today unless they want it, like to pitch an extended role, unless they want to punt tomorrow. So, yeah.
So we'll see. They need to survive and get back to Nola and Wheeler for if they want to have any chance. And I don't know if they will. I wouldn't be shocked if the Astros win 3 straight here. All right. Let's get to your second NBA pick for tonight. Talking about a game that we already brought up, the Pacers and the Nets.
Yeah, I talked about this earlier. I'm on the Pacers plus 8.5 tonight. For those reasons I mentioned, the Nets are 6-31-1 against the spread as home favorites since last year. I actually kind of like this Pacers team, to be honest with you. Benedict Mathurin, their first round pick, has looked absolutely fantastic off the bench. Tyrese Halliburton's averaging 23.4 points, 4.1 rebounds, 10 assists a game this year. He's been an all-star. If the Pacers weren't going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA, probably he probably would have been an all-star with these numbers if he keeps this up the rest of the season. So I think Indiana is going to be able to keep this one close. The Nets don't play any defense. They are dead last in the NBA for a reason. They've given up a ton of points. They've been horrible in first quarters. This year, they're 28th in the NBA in first quarter scoring. So they put themselves in holes because they can't get out to good starts. So I just think this is the type of game where if Indiana hangs around early, I don't see Brooklyn pulling away in the second half unless you get, a Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving like 40, 50-point game. And even so, Kyrie's had back-to-back like 35-plus point games, and they're losing. So I just don't see the Nets covering and winning by 9+ tonight.
There you go. Pacers plus 8.5 against the Brooklyn Nets. My final pick for tonight, I'm going to the ice, and I'm looking at the Detroit Red Wings against the Buffalo Sabres here. And I will take the Detroit Red Wings. I got them at plus 120. The odds have moved against me. You can get them now at around plus 125. But I like the Red Wings in this spot. I am fading the Sabres. I've talked about the Sabres team on the show in the past. I think they're kind of overperforming this season, and a big part of it is because they're getting fantastic goaltending play. Their expected goals per against per game this season is 3.32. Their actual goals against is 2.75. So they are playing terribly in their own end, but they're getting bailed out by their goaltending. But I refuse to believe that Eric Comrie is their answer in between the net, that he can keep up this level of play that he's been playing at this season. So I think we're going to see some regression from them as their bad defensive play begins to bite them in the butt. I will take a shot on the Red Wings at plus 120, who I still think, even though we haven't quite seen it so far this season, I still think we're going to see a step forward from the Red Wings. And they're maybe not a playoff team, but finished right outside the playoffs this year. So I'll take a shot on them as plus 120 underdogs in Buffalo. So there you have it. Hey, maybe the Sabres are hungover after celebrating the Bills win last night.
Could be.
Probably not, but maybe. All right, you got one more NBA pick, and I got a hunch that it has to do with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes, sir. We're going to the side. Save the sign pick for last. Why not? Giannis looks like the MVP. I bet him preseason to win MVP, and I'm feeling unbelievable about that because he has started this season on a mission. He's actually scored the most points he scored over a 4-game stretch in his career over the last 4 games for the Bucks. They're 5-0 on the season and 5-0 against the spread, so they've been a better stream as well. Giannis this season averaging 34.4 points, 14 rebounds, 5.8 assists per game. So add all that up, about 53, 54 PRA. I like him to go over 50.5 tonight against the Detroit Pistons team, who's another team who doesn't defend anybody. I thought a lot of people thought the Pistons were kind of going to take a step this year, but they're 29th so far in the league in defensive rating, giving up a ton of points. And the thing that scares me about the Pistons, they do not have a big front court. Isaiah Stewart, their starting center, is about 6'8". They're probably going to go Sadiq Bey and Bogdanovic in their starting lineup. Both those guys are smaller forwards. Their only like true big in the rotation is rookie Jalen Duran, who is 18 years old. He is not holding Giannis tonight, and he probably wouldn't even guard Giannis because Giannis is going to be playing the 4. So I don't love this matchup for the Pistons. I think they might get boat raced here. I think Giannis has a big game. Pistons are also 20th in rebound percentage, so I think Giannis pushes 12, 13, 14 rebounds tonight. So the over here is the only way I play this. He's just playing way too good. Too many 40-point games where you won't even have to sweat it if he does that tonight. So give me the over for Giannis, looking like the MVP right now.
Love it. We got one more question in the chat here. Beers and Bowties asks me if I would take the over 6.5 in that Red Wings Sabres game. I don't know. To be honest, even though I think we're going to see some regression from the Sabres goaltending, I don't know if I love the over in that, to be honest. Red Wings 23rd and 5-on-5 expected goals. Let me take a quick look at their shooting percentages here. I'm just going to try to live handicap this, but my gut feeling based on what I've seen so far, I don't love the over. 6.5 is kind of a scary number. Red Wings middle of the pack in shooting percentage. Buffalo above average. I don't love it, but I wouldn't bet the under either. For me, the total is just a stay away in that game. If you're on the over, good luck. Unfortunately, that's not a good answer. I'm not giving you any additional information, but I haven't seen enough from the Red Wings offense yet. I think the Red Wings offense will get there, but I haven't quite seen it yet. So I don't know. We'll see. That's a tough game to bet on for the total, I think. And let's get to the poll. The community poll results are in. And the Browns plus 3.5 won on YouTube. But if we combine the votes with the Twitter poll, Bengals minus 3.5 are the community pick of the night, which I like because I'm on the Browns. And I love you, poll, but you stunk recently. Not a very high win percentage from the poll. Actually, I'm thinking, was that something in the background, Peter? Was that? I thought that was a spooky noise. I thought that was a spooky noise sound effect there for a second.
We got a motorcycle going by.
I'm trying to think of what was the Thursday night game. Ravens. Ravens
Bucks.
Donovan, me, and the poll all won on the Ravens, I think, Thursday night. So that was a fun little night. That's a rare thing where all three of us are on the same pick and we all win. I hope you're wrong tonight, though, poll, because I'm on the Browns plus 3. Peter, if you had to pick a side, which way would you go?
I think I'd lean Browns too. I don't know how the Bengals are going to look without Jamar Chase offensively. We saw them at the beginning of the year. Like, they got off to a slow start. That was with everybody playing, but there was a game T. Higgins missed. Like, when one of these guys is out, something happens where this offense fits perfectly, like we saw it last week when everybody's healthy. But you take one piece away, and you can tell they're missing something. It looks a lot tougher for Joe Burrow. So I'm intrigued to see what it looks like because this is probably going to be the Bengals like this what they're going to be for the next 4 weeks. But I wouldn't trust them to cover 3.5. I like you're getting the hook with the field goal here. I think that's valuable in this matchup.
I did not get the hook, unfortunately. I got it at +3, so we'll see. So there you have it. There's our show. Peter, you don't like Halloween, but can you at least give me an answer for the question I asked Taylor at the start of the show? What is the best Halloween candy?
Oh, best Halloween candy. Oh, man. I'd have to go either a Snickers or a Reese's. Those would be one of my top two. Kit Kats are good too, but I think Snickers and Reese's take the peanut butter. It puts it to the top, I think.
How do you feel about Skittles?
I like Skittles. Skittles are a good one. I think Skittles and Starburst are a little bit of an underrated Halloween thing to get. Everybody goes for like the chocolate, but you get Skittles or Starburst, it's not bad.
Taylor said she likes sour candy, which I'm not a big sour candy fan. Also, she says she likes suckers. I feel like I threw out all my suckers that I got in Halloween, especially like the yellow ones, like lemon suckers. Oh,
yeah, no way. Didn't you say you used to get popcorn on Halloween or chips or something like that? Is that a thing in Canada?
Oh, that was the thing we talked about last year.
Last year,
you guys
yeah.
Not get chips.
No, never.
That's
maybe like it's a.
Forgot about that, but yeah, we found that out last year. We get chips all the time. Like the majority of the candy you get are chips, little mini bag of chips.
Maybe I don't know about like other places in the country. Connecticut never got chips before.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I might have to ask Twitter again. I think I might have last year though. But yeah, like half our candy would be chips.
That's crazy. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I wouldn't mind getting some chips, but that's
It depends on like the lazy thing that you would get when you'd get Lay's plain chips or Lay's Canadian or those American too. Lay's chips.
No, yeah, that's
that's like plain chips is like, ugh, but like sometimes you get like Doritos or like barbecue chips or like hickory sticks, which I don't know if they exist here or not, but those would be fun. Plain chips are always boring. All right, that is our show. Tomorrow, the early read at 1 p.m. Eastern. Reed Wallach giving out his best bets for college football week 10. Can't believe we're this deep into the football season already. And then daily Betslip. Reed will be pulling double duty, I believe, and Reed and I will be on daily Betslip tomorrow as well to talk NHL, World Series, and the NBA, and potentially some early looks into NFL Week 9. Any closing thoughts, Peter?
Big sports night tonight. One of the last few ones we're going to have where, everybody's in action. So I would just say enjoy it. It's going to be a little baseball, a little football, a little basketball. Going to be worth it. NHL too. Going to be a good one.
Before we know, we're going to blink our eyes and football season is going to be over. So enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah. And like I said earlier, great color game tonight. Halloween night, we got a couple of orange and black teams. How fun is that? All right. I hope everyone has a good Halloween. Eat some candy. Get a couple spooks in. A couple scary moments. Have a good night. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe, please. But that's enough from us. Good luck tonight. Gamble or bless. We'll talk to you tomorrow.